Geeks on Screen with Coffee. What are you drinking, Chris?
I'm afraid I've only got a glass of water. If I was drinking coffee at this time of night, I would just not sleep at all.
Okay, maybe this should be a morning show. Oh, OBS has said
Mostly a water drinker.
it's not connected. It's trying again. I think my internet's gone.
Oh dear. Well, I can hear you.
Oh, that's bizarre. Okay, I can see the stream's dead. That's come back. Okay, right. Well, let's carry on because it's still recording, even if it's having a couple of challenges. So we're going to play a little game first of all, and Chris, you're going to introduce yourself, but you are not. And I tried this out with Geffen last night. You're not allowed to mention Power BI. Now, considering that's the team you work in, we're going to see how long we can go. All right. So, Chris, do you want to introduce yourself for people who don't know who you are?
So, my name's Chris Webb, and I now work for Microsoft. I work on a very successful, very widely used product for building reports and doing analysis. Indeed, I used to be an analysis services person for a very long time, and analysis services has now been swallowed up by this particular product. It has a memorable. I work on something called the customer advisory team for this product, which means that I go around and I help large customers who are users of this product generally be successful, and also act as the kind of eyes and ears of the real development team, and find out what people are doing with the product, find out what they like and what they don't like, and filter those requirements back to the actual PMs who do the work, and plan the features. So I've got a very kind of vague role. I just make stuff happen.
Oh, that's quite good.
It's fun. It's open-ended. I get to do lots and lots of varied and interesting things. I mean, apart from working with customers and all those things, I get to, go to conferences and events and speak. And I'm encouraged to blog, which is good because I blog anyway. And so long as I'm doing something that helps the product in an obvious way, then I think I'm doing the right thing.
Actually, what we should do is, do you want to tell people what your blog is, and I'll bring it up in the background?
Yes, it is blog.crossjoin.co.uk. Chris Webb's BI blog.
Okay, we'll show that. I'll bring that up, and then we'll do some fancy wizardry.
I'm sure if you search for Chris Webb, there are various Chris Webbs in the world, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that'll come at the top of your search results, probably.
Yeah, you will.
Unless you're a James Bond fan, where you'll probably get the Chris Webb, who was the stunt man in lots of kind of 1970s James Bond films.
Ooh. Okay. So are you? Well, we can jump to that. So are you doing any presentations or any remote stuff at the moment?
Not actually. I mean, we're kind of right in the middle of a whole. There's been a whole bunch of conferences that I was going to that have been cancelled. So, what are the conferences that I was going to that have been cancelled? I was going to go to the Power BI Day in the Netherlands. That got cancelled. I was going to be at SQL Bits. That got cancelled. I was going to be at the Microsoft Business Application Summit next week. That's turned into an online event, and that's kind of changed a lot. But obviously, I'm not going to be going to Dallas for that.
So can people register for that and get on that, or is that closed?
It's a free event, so you can register for it now. There will be lots of interesting announcements about the product that I work on. There will be lots of interesting announcements about the whole of the Power Platform, and cool new things.
Chris, no one's listening. Can you Is there anything you can tell us now?
No, I know a few things, but I have to say I will tell you a secret. A lot of the time, I only see the cool new things when I go to a conference and somebody announces it on stage.
Oh yes, that tends to happen quite a lot, doesn't it? I mean that has happened to quite a few people, and I think the team I work for did a very big announcement, and we only found out we did find out a little while before, but that's quite unusual.
There are some things that I know are coming, but there's always new stuff that somebody's been working on that I don't know very well that suddenly gets announced, and it's like, oh wow, that's amazing. I had no idea that was coming. But of course, to the customers and everything, you have to pretend to know everything.
Well, of course. I mean, someone wanted to work for Microsoft, and we just had a chat. This is in my previous role, and they went, how do you PFEs know so much? And I said, I'll tell you a secret. You just need to be one step ahead. You just need to know one little bit more, and and then kind of you have this illusion and air around you that you know a lot. You don't have to have all that bravado and shout loudly. You just it's a trick. It's a magic trick.
It's the same with all tech consultancy roles. You just need to be 6 months ahead of the customer. You don't need to know everything. You just need to prove that you've got that little bit of extra experience more than the people you're working with.
So how's the virus and stuff been affecting you? How's the lockdown and?
It's not made an awful lot of difference because I work from home anyway. I don't really go. I mean, before it all happened, I would go on site to customers. A lot of the companies I work with are in central London, so even though I probably didn't need to go, it was pretty easy. Just hop on a train and you're there in an hour and a half. And sometimes it's good to get out of the house, but even then, I wouldn't. Would maybe only go out on site once or twice a month. So it's not made an awful lot of difference to me. I'm still as busy as I normally am. A lot of the stuff I'm doing is carrying on the same. So work-wise, it's not really made much difference.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, we did go out to when you came over to a customer in Leeds. We went out to that street food restaurant.
Yeah,
I think that was.
That was nice, yeah, and it's that's the kind of thing you miss when you don't get out of the house.
Well, I mean, it sounds like we talk all the time, but we don't actually. This is like the first time we've talked in quite a long time.
Yeah.
You were one of the first people that I interviewed. I mentioned this earlier for a previous blog that podcast that no longer exists, and it was very difficult to edit it because you just made me laugh all the way through it.
I wish I was that good in real life.
No, but you are that good in real life. We were at some event. It was at what is now the Nightingale Hospital. Mm-hmm. It was at the Excel. It was an MVP.
Wow, that dates it.
Day that.
Oh, was it? Was it a Future Decoded? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask. I'm going to because you were an ex-MVP.
Mm-hmm. Up until just a little bit more than a year ago. Well, a little bit less than a year ago.
How many years were you? You haven't got your MVP things all stacked up on the wall.
I've got my MVP thing on my shelf. Do you want me to go and get it?
I mean,
I've got two of the little glass things. I've got one for 2009, which is maybe the first year that they did it. If I start getting it down, it'll probably and then I've got, there we are. This is on my, God, it's dusty. This needs a dust.
How many?
There's a 5 years, 2010. Oh, what happened to my 2011 one? Okay, but I was 2011. 5 years, 10 years. I was 13 years. I was an MVP. Oh, that's disappointing. I wonder what happened to my 2011 glass thingy. It probably came and then somebody, one of the kids probably stole it and put it somewhere. But yes, I was 13 years.
All right. Are you ready to be grilled?
Yes, I am.
What does MVP stand for?
Most valuable professional.
Okay. Was there a secret handshake?
There was, but then somebody told the world about it, so we had to find some other way to identify ourselves. It's like the Freemasons, I'm sure.
Who was the tallest MVP?
I have absolutely no idea.
How tall are you?
About 5'11".
No, you're taller than that.
Tall. No, I'm not. I'm not officially 6 foot, I'm sure.
All right. Did you get free parking?
No.
Oh, all right. What was the best free thing you got while being an MVP?
Oh, I see. That's a good one. I mean, the free stuff has changed over the years. I mean, there's the glass thing there. I've got I think the last thing I got was when you stop being an MVP, they give you a little kind of metal medal thing. I mean, are we talking about official Microsoft swag or just stuff that I've got from places that I've been in my capacity as an MVP? Because I've got, I'll show you this. I got this from SQL Saturday Iceland. I'm not saying it's the best thing, but I got it. So this is like a kind of wooden model of Iceland.
That's quite neat.
Nice. I mean, I got lots of, obviously backpacks were a thing for a while. You don't seem to get backpacks anymore, which is a shame, because actually I could probably do with another backpack. Everything from SQL conference in Germany last year, which is probably the last conference I would have gone to, I think, as an MVP, one of the last ones. That's something that I wear all the time. It's basically a cardigan, but nowadays you can't wear a cardigan even if you're in your mid-40s like me. But if you call it a kind of fleecy jacket, it looks like a cardigan. It's warm. It keeps you warm at home, especially when you don't want to put the heating on and spend some money. And you can just call it a fleecy jacket, and you don't feel like you're a granddad or anything.
Oh, a cardigan works for me.
Yeah, I'm sure there must be some other good stuff that I got as an MVP. Nothing really occurs to me. I've never been to one of those conferences where they give you a free laptop or anything. No. I did win. I won my Xbox in a competition.
That's pretty good.
And that was a Microsoft competition, but that wasn't as an MVP. That was just as a member of the public.
Yeah, all right. So what as a regular human have you got the best free thing?
I think that was the best free thing. I mean, I would say getting the Xbox for the competition, that was good. And that was back in the days of doing Power Pivot, Power Query, and all the kind of Excel-based BI stuff, which was the thing before Power BI became the thing. And I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that gets free stuff. I've got too much junk as it is, really.
I'm not the type of person who gets free stuff. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That makes me feel really bad.
Why? Have you got loads of good free stuff then?
No.
Are you the kind of person that does go to a conference and gets a free laptop? And
no, I don't get anything good, but I do go up to the vendors and go, "What free stuff have you got?" And then because I let them know I'm not going to buy it. I'm not that interested in your product. What good free stuff have you got for my kids? And generally they appreciate the honesty.
I tell you what I got. I got a Raspberry Pi once. But that was kind of unofficially. It was years ago before I worked for Microsoft. But I was at a kind of airlift type training event doing. I can't even remember what I was there for, but I was doing a presentation of some sort, and Alan Mitchell was there as well. Where is Alan Mitchell nowadays? And he was doing some IoT type thing. and they had a whole classroom full of people who were being given free Raspberry Pis and doing IoT stuff, and he had a leftover one that he gave to me, and I had that Raspberry Pi doing nothing for ages, and then I got around to buying a case for it, and I've turned it into, I put MAME, the arcade emulator on it. That was quite an easy thing to do, and now I can play retro arcade games and things on it.
What's your favourite? Double Dragon?
No, older stuff like that.
I'm
not sure Double Dragon actually, I can get it to run. Not everything runs, but it's a matter of getting all the right ROMs in the right places. But
all sourced from legal places, of course.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
Yeah, just what I've
doing
mentioned
anything
that.
naughty like that. But all of those games that I used to kind of, when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and 10p is a lot of money, and you don't want to waste money putting 10p into. You think about how much 10p was worth back in the early 1980s. That's kind of like the equivalent of £1 now, isn't it? I
don't know, but you are showing your age.
Yeah, but anyway, there were things like I have to say, it's an arcade game called Phoenix, which I can remember. We used to go on a holiday to this place between Teignmouth and Torquay in Devon called Sladna Park, and they had obviously I can't remember anything. We used to go there every year with my parents, my granddad, and everything, and it's stupid the things you remember, because I can't really remember much about the things we did, apart from the fact I can remember at this place they had a Phoenix arcade cabinet. They also had Scramble as well. Scramble always a bit too difficult, but Phoenix is Phoenix is a great game. The thing that caught my imagination about Phoenix was that you went through a whole series of waves, and then there was this mothership, and you had to shoot away the bottom of the mothership to kill it. And there was like a kind of alien controller in the middle of the mothership. And I don't know, that's one of those things that kind of sticks in your mind. And then, of course, as soon as you're a grown-up and you're allowed to, do all these things yourself, and you can get hold of all these things, then suddenly it's there, and you can, indulge all those fantasies you had when you were like 7 or 8 years old.
I know, but you haven't gone to the extreme of building a cabinet. Or have you?
No. It's still in a kind of, the Raspberry Pi is still in a kind of cheap plastic case that I bought when the Maplin was going out of business. Sitting under the TV in the back room.
All right, we've got to finish the MV. Where do we get up to? Do you really have Bill Gates's fax number or phone number?
No.
Okay.
Apparently, he doesn't even use a Microsoft email address nowadays. Somebody said.
All right, finish the story. 3 MVPs walk into a bar.
I've gone dry. I can't think of anything.
All right. And the last one is, can you sneak me into the next MVP summit? And because you're no longer an MVP, you can't. But
no, I can't even get into the MVP summit.
Actually, wouldn't you be presenting, or wouldn't you be telling people about stuff?
No. You see, they don't want to pay money for people like me to go over and present at an MVP summit when half my team's based in Bellevue, and they can just go and hang out with the MVPs there.
Yeah, I guess.
I only ever went to the MVP summit once anyway, when it was the week after the past summit.
Really? I thought you'd be out there all the time.
Well, I know, because I was always like doing conferences and stuff anyway. It was always kind of hard to justify spending that money, and if I was over at over in Seattle for something like a conference, it was just easier to see all the development team when I was there anyway. So
yeah, right.
It was just yeah. I mean, I would have. It's not that I wouldn't have found it useful. It would have been really useful, but it's just hard to justify. Those trips to Seattle are pretty expensive, and you're paying for it yourself. And it's not only that; it's kind of lost. Back when I was self-employed, it was a week of lost earnings as well. So it was a pretty expensive thing to do.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to change tack slightly, and I'm going to give you probably one of the most important questions. And hopefully you've been thinking about this long and hard, and you're going to come up with a good answer. Chris Webb, what's your favourite cheese?
Well, I'm the kind of person that likes all forms of cheese. I don't think I've ever found a cheese that I didn't like. But at dinner tonight, I was just thinking like some real Parmesan would be nice.
Okay. Well, what did you have for dinner?
It was this chicken, green beans, pasta, and pesto mix thing. That was quite nice. My wife made it. But I was just thinking that not only not that kind of chalky Parmesan stuff that you buy ready ground, but a nice bit of a nice real chunk of Parmesan. Because I think good Parmesan has that pineapple-y taste, doesn't it?
I haven't eaten proper cheese for a while, so I can't.
Oh, well, that's true. Yes,
Yeah.
You wouldn't be eating cheese, would you?
No.
Well, good Parmesan has got a kind of like tangy pineapple-y taste, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't had any good Parmesan. I haven't had any Parmesan full stop for ages. But I was just thinking that. But on another day I might have said Wensleydale or who knows.
So tomorrow you could give us a completely different answer.
Possibly.
Right. What's the best thing that's come out of the virus, the lockdown? What kind of?
Well, personally, I think it's kind of now you're only allowed to go out for exercise. It's meant that I've actually made an effort to go out and do about half an hour to an hour of walking every day. I could go out and do whatever I wanted. I just didn't do. There would be days going by when I didn't even leave the house, which is not very healthy. So actually, it's kind of reminded me that I need to go out and. I mean, I do exercise in the house, but nothing beats a bit of a brisk walk around the corner. And actually, I think it's kind of nicer to go for a walk now that there's less traffic on the road.
So have you got a gym or in the house, or have you got some exercise equipment?
I've got like an exercise bike. You can probably tell from what I was saying with my home office setup. I'm not one of those people that spends ages getting everything just right. I'm completely lazy. If I've got something that works and does the job, then that's it.
Yeah, but at least you're using it. It's not become a thing to hang clothes off.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I use my exercise bike every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I'm impressed. I think we went through an exercise.
At least I have done since Christmas.
That's still quite a long time.
It's the end of April now, so that's still pretty good.
You've made it through quite a long period of time. That's really good. Are you clocking up the miles on it? Do you know how far you've gone, or?
No, probably about. No, I've got no idea how much. I just do 10 kilometers every day. I'll tell you what else I've got. Years ago, my wife, we went to the Ideal Home exhibition. Just by saying I went to the Ideal Home exhibition, that you kind of know that you've ended up buying some junk that you probably didn't want. But years and years, well, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, we went to the Ideal Home exhibition, and my wife bought one of those vibrating board things, thinking it was going to be the answer to all of her prayers, and then used it about once. And then last year, because it was. Well, you can't hang clothes off it, but it was used to be a very low-lying coffee table in the lounge. I got that and brought that upstairs, and I've been on that every day pretty much since the beginning of last summer. I'm not sure it has any kind of real benefit, but like the virus, it has some kind of good side effects in that it's now an excuse for me to start watching YouTube videos. I was never had any patience at all for kind of watching stuff on YouTube, but now I've got like 10 minutes to kill, and I can put my phone on the window ledge and watch stuff. Everybody's YouTube videos are always 10 minutes, so it's kind of it's a nice opportunity to catch up on what's happening in kind of the world of Microsoft tech every day, and just watch some videos.
Okay, so what's your favourite channels? So is it particularly Microsoft ones or just general ones?
Yeah, it's all kind of Microsoft ones because I want to use it for kind of my own tech education.
Who have I been? I watched. Oh, he's someone in your team, and he does YouTube videos. And
Guy in a Cube guys.
no, no, no. I mean, you can watch Guy
Matthew
in a Cube and
Ross.
you can drop it. I mean, they're good and they're well produced, but he was making. Was he temperate? He was making some chocolate dessert.
That's Matthew.
Ah, yeah. Is that Matt Roche?
Yes. Yes.
And
So
that
he
was
does.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a well. Yeah. He was going to be doing lots and lots of videos, but then, you know, maybe he stopped. Maybe I need to subscribe to him. Maybe he's doing loads of videos and I'm not watching them. That's the point. I need to go and subscribe to him. But I'm just kind of I'm like about 15 years behind everybody else. I need to start like building up my subscription list.
No, but you can share those ones you are watching. Obviously, everyone knows about Guy in a Cube.
Yeah.
Although I find it a bit odd because it should be really guys in a cube, shouldn't it?
Well, it was just a guy in a cube, and then so it was originally Adam for the first. I think they've been going for like 5 years or something now. But it was originally Adam for a long time, and then he got Patrick involved. And when you've got two people, it scales so much better.
Yeah, I mean, it will be guys in infinite cubes. As I guess that's the thing with a name. You never know how good it's going to be, how big it's going to be, and it's quite a nice, catchy name.
Yeah, I mean the production values are just kind of out of this world. I mean Adam is really good at producing videos, and actually if you ever watch some of the older ones, which are still out there, I Google for stuff and there's a video out there, you can really see how much better they've got and how much better the quality is actually since they started. But I think they've mentioned how much time and effort and money they spend on it, so it's kind of not surprising that it's just got better and better.
Yeah, well, when you do stuff like this, which is almost everything I had lying around. I think the only thing that I bought especially was the screen, but I already had one that was just canvas. That was just kind of like a green sheet, but it keeps getting, it's just not easy to use and put up. And I brought a light, but the camera and everything else is all stuff that I had lying around. Yeah, you can see the production quality isn't great. You see the lighting isn't that good. I could do with some more lighting. But
yeah, it's always the lighting that gives it away, isn't it? It's yeah, people can usually get reasonable sound or is legible sound, but it's the lighting that generally works or doesn't work.
You need a decent sized space, and you can. I don't know whether you can't see it because you can't see what other people are watching, but on the stream, there's a bit down here which isn't quite right, where there's a wrinkle in the screen, and there's a bit down here where the lighting isn't so good, and then it comes across. I have to put the screen up every time I have the conversation, and then I have to adjust it and get the right angle and get the light in the right place, and it's never quite right.
But see, if we were like American, if we were Microsoft employees in America, especially if we lived in somewhere like Texas, we'd all have these gigantic houses, and there would be we'd have a whole floor devoted to our kind of man cave, and then you'd be able to set up your own recording studio and everything there.
Yes, yeah. Well, we can all dream, can't we? But
yeah,
if we all had wooden houses, then they could be bigger, but they don't last in forever.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why these American houses are all so cheap. They're all made of cardboard.
I wonder how many people you've offended there.
Well, what happens if the big bad wolf comes along? They're not going to last 2 minutes, are they?
No. And us in our with our piglets in our houses are brick
and stone.
Yeah. Oh, we've got stone. I think that this house has got mud walls. It's quite old. Somewhere underneath, and the brick covers it because they realised that mud wasn't keeping the big bad wolf out.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, my house is made of good sturdy brick. So.
Well, rather than these new builds that have got really
made of
thin walls.
this concrete stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go. I think I did want to mention something before we get on to Richard Herring emergency question book. Is I saw on it was on Facebook where someone had recorded. So I could say, welcome to Chris Webb, who is famous for his Power Hours and Power BI out. Did I get that right?
PowerBI Power Hours?
Yes.
Oh, we said the word now, haven't we?
No, you said it earlier, and it flashed
did
up.
I? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did flash that up earlier.
Yeah, BI Power Hours.
BI Power Hour. So, where you did these kind of, there must have been like 15 minutes, maybe not even. Were they?
Yeah, they're about 10 minutes or so.
And I saw the one where you did the card trick, where you read someone's mind. I saw that in person.
Oh, at Sequel Bits.
Yes.
Or was that at the past summit?
I think that was the
I've done it about 3 or 4 times.
I think I might have seen it twice, and it's still funny watching you make someone. Was it a colander, or was it just silver foil?
It was just a kind of black bowler hat. My kids had got it. I think we bought one of the World Book Day costumes, and it was part of a Mary Poppins costume.
Oh.
And then obviously, like, your kids don't have any use for a black bowler hat after that, so I covered it with tin foil and put some fairy lights around it.
And then you read someone's mind using the power of technology. Although,
yes, that was one of those demos that worked really well the first time, and then not quite so well afterwards. And in fact, I did it in Belgium, and it completely failed because
high concept, high value, but high risk and high reward.
Well, I mean, if it completely failed, well, shall I kind of tell you how I did it?
Are you are you going to do it again? Are you allowed to give away the secret?
I'm not going to do it again. I think once you've done it a few times, it's kind of.
I think there was an audience out there for it though. But go on, yeah. I'd like to hear how you did it.
Yeah, so I think I probably would have explained it at the time, but so basically it was. So I got somebody up on stage. They kind of shuffled the cards and showed the cards to the audience. And then I had, obviously you always have like a plant in the audience. And that person sees the card. They typed the name of the card into a text document in Notepad, which was saved to OneDrive for Business. And they had typed in, I had a Power Query that took that text and converted it to literally kind of converted it to text that could be displayed, latitudes and longitudes that could be plotted on a map. And then if you remember Power Map and 3D maps, it made the name of the card appear on a kind of 3D map in Excel. Which worked well the first couple of times I did it, and then in Belgium I did it, and the person who was meant to be typing into Notepad actually didn't see the card properly and typed the wrong card in. So,
yes.
You know, that was a bit of a screw up, even though they were standing right at the front.
Oh, okay.
There was actually an even better one. Did you see the kind of appearing picture one? If you didn't see it,
there was one where you had.
I only ever.
Was it Carmel taking a picture?
Yes, yeah, that was it. So Bob and Carmel were my kind of plants in the audience when I did this at Sequelwitz, and I had Matt Mason. He was the stooge. He had no idea what was going on, but after I did the card trick, I got him to draw a picture on a piece of white paper, black pen, black marker on a piece of white paper, which he held up. And so Bob and Carmel were in the audience. Bob took a picture because he's Bob and Carmel. Actually, it would have been Carmel that's taken. She's the real photographer. Took a picture, took the SD card out very quickly, saved the picture as a kind of 2-color BMP file, which again I had a power onto OneDrive for Business, which I then had a power in Excel, which took that and it read each pixel, black and white pixel from there, read it, turned it into a table of, a table with ones and zeros in, which I then loaded into Excel, did some conditional formatting, and this was all kind of pre-prepared, where the ones were black cells and the zeros were white cells, and I could therefore load any picture, any black and white picture, into Excel, make each pixel a cell in the Excel spreadsheet, and when you zoomed out on the worksheet, you could actually see the picture. So I was able to kind of make the picture that Matt had drawn on his piece of paper appear in Excel just by refreshing the Excel workbook.
And did that work?
Quite a long time to actually convert it to BMP and save it in OneDrive. So there was a little bit of kind of time wasting there.
Yeah, but like any good trick, you were kind of distracting people on the, distracting the audience while all the magic was happening somewhere else.
Yes, online.
Yes. So,
but yeah, that's a trick that would only work if you had people who could actually take photos properly and had a proper camera. And so, without Bob and Carmel there wasn't really any point in trying to do that again. But I think that was the most impressive trick I've ever done in a demo. And it worked as well.
I thought now I saw this online where someone had recorded, because the Power Hours are never they're not recorded, are they? Generally,
they aren't.
So as a rule, but someone in the audience had recorded you doing a séance with the BI tools of the past.
Yes, yeah, that was another one I did. That one worked. One worked pretty well. Although I had a whole bunch of props. I did it first time I did it in Denmark. It worked really well, but then I had a kind of tray on the table in front of me and a bit of string hidden underneath, where I was going to pull the string and it would look like the tray and all these kind of plastic cups on top would fly off. But that failed when I did it in at the Power Hour in the States. But that worked nicely. That worked nicely in Denmark.
Yeah, and so much effort goes into those, and only a few people in the world have seen it.
Well, yes, that's exactly why after you do the Power Hour once or twice, you dread being asked to do it again, because the amount of effort it takes to prepare a 10-minute demo like that is just absolutely nuts.
Right.
And it's so much pressure to not only have a demo but do something interesting and cool and funny, which of course you don't need to do when you're doing anything doing a regular presentation.
All right. No, but thank you for telling me about that, because I enjoyed watching those, because they're unusual, and I don't remember other events. The entire event has just disappeared, but I'll remember bits from the Power Hour, and I think it was Matt Roche ripping his shirt open at Sequel Bits, I think in London. It's because he was a superhero.
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. But yeah, maybe I just imagined it. But yeah. But all right.
But they're quite controversial as well, the Power Hours.
Why are they controversial?
You get a lot of complaints.
Complaints?
Well, sometimes you get people doing rude jokes. That can be quite controversial. And also, to be honest, the people who control, especially at a lot of conferences, well, not something like PASS, where it's kind of run by people who are people who would otherwise be going to the conference, and Sequel Bits as well. But a lot of the kind of Microsoft run conferences, it's a real struggle to, there's so many people that they want to do presentations. There are only a limited number of slots, and then when you go and say to the people controlling the agenda, hey, can we do something like a Power Hour? They think, what's this? What rubbish is this? Who's going to want to? It's a real struggle to do it. And then, of course, at MBAS last year, I didn't do the Power Hour because there was a conflict. My session was scheduled at the same time, and then it got moved, and so I could have done it. But the Power Hour at MBAS last year was the biggest conference session I'd seen anywhere, because they put it in a room, and they were, people were able to kind of kind of fill out their agenda to say what they wanted to go and see, and they had to keep changing rooms because so many people wanted to go and see the Power Hour. And in the end, I think they had over 1,000 people seeing the Power Hour.
Yeah, well, whenever they've been at like SQL Bits or other conferences, it is standing room, and you have to get in really early if you want a seat, because you know you're going to be entertained, and you're going to learn something, and maybe you'll be in a seance, maybe there'll be a space thing going on, maybe there'll be Buck Woody will be playing a pheromone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Theremin, not a pheromone.
Sorry, yes, the theremin. Yeah, I'm sure he does play pheromones. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, can't edit that out. All right. Yeah, it's just a shame because I enjoy them.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe the kind of MBAS last year has proved the point. If we ever have in-person conferences again, I'm sure somebody will want to do an MBAS.
No, I'm sure we will.
I don't know. I just don't know when we're going to get to go to an in-person conference. It'll be a shame if they all stop happening.
Well, I don't think they will. I think there will still be room for in-person conferences. I just think what people will have found out is it's far cheaper, easier, and quicker to put on a virtual conference. Yeah. As it Data Weekender this weekend was sorted out in a month. It's going to be a shoestring because they haven't got any budget. But if you had budget, like Redgate, they put on their virtual thing. But I think that people will appreciate the fact they can get out and actually, get out and see and listen to Chris Webb in person and touch him. No, I mean obviously not. I'm not condoning they come and touch you, but you are.
I'm not going to be. I won't come.
It's
but
far.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I suppose kind of you and I are already convinced of the value of in-person conferences. It's just that there are a lot of people who've made. It sounds strange to say, but a lot of people who work in tech, who've made a tech conference, and then they need convincing of the value of it. Quite a lot of people I've met at things like SQL Bits, who said it's the first time they've been to a conference like that, and they only came because somebody they knew said it was good. So they took a kind of surprise that they actually went and enjoyed it. I'm just worried that with kind of fewer opportunities to do that, there'll be people just won't get out and about and do these things.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun to go to these conferences and see people.
Yeah, I mean, and you get that opportunity where you can actually talk to them. I mean, I would have never talked to Olga Hallengen if it wasn't for
Ola Hallengen.
Yeah, Ola Hallengen. If it wasn't for some Marty, someone I knew who was absolutely off his face when. You've got to talk to this guy. He's amazing. To me, he does his database stuff.
Martin Catherall, is it?
It might be. He lives out in the Bristol way.
Oh no, not
him. No. But it could be any.
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, you look like Mr. Hallengen. Oh, okay. I've used your software in like loads of organisations that I've worked in before. And he's so quiet and unassuming, and he was going, he was telling me I didn't even know if I would get picked, and you're going, what?
Yes.
Yeah. You get some real divas, but you just get some really humble kind of, really really clever people. and you get to speak to them, which is kind of
Exactly.
unusual.
And, you just meet people who do the same thing as you.
And you've got with everybody there, you've got something in common.
Yeah, which means you've got something to talk about.
Yeah, and once you get over that initial fear, that everybody is there and everybody is the same, and that saying hello to someone, isn't actually strange. Being friendly at a conference isn't actually unusual. Apart from when people don't sit next to each other and they leave big gaps and you have to squeeze them in, then I think you find to be rude to them all.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
By midday by early on Saturday morning. Yeah. No, kill them all. All right. 2 more things before we go off track. So I'm going to ask you a question from Richard Herring's emergency question book. If you've got it at home, you can play along. So, and who would you nominate me to talk to next? So pick a number. So actually, you're aware of Richard Herring, Richard K. Herring, and
well, I'm of that age.
But you're not familiar with his current work.
I'm not familiar with his emergency question book.
What?
I suppose he probably does podcasts and things now.
Yeah. So this has come out of his podcast. So it was one of that. Yeah. So you would have these standard questions, which are probably not appropriate for this podcast. Which I won't go into, but you can. I might be able to. I might read the numbers out so people could play at home. So we'll pick a number between 1 and 1001, and I'll ask you the question. And
all right,
if it's a good question,
746.
Why 746?
I don't know. It just came into my mind.
Yeah. Someone picked a number because it was a lucky number.
God, I used to love Ian Herring's Fist of Fun. That was good. But that's on YouTube. That'll be something when I'm watching my YouTube stuff.
If you go on to Go Faster Stripe, you can buy it. In fact, I can lend you my copy.
That's all right.
It's actually still in the cellophane. I bought it at one of the gigs because they bought the rights to it, so they could re-release it.
Okay, so they can re-release it. Okay.
Was it 748?
746.
746. Okay.
They had the fake Rod Hull, didn't they? Fake Rod Hull and Emu.
Yeah, they did. Well, yeah. You know the story? They did.
Yeah, and then the real Rod Hull died, and they had to take that out of the rest of the series, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, they filmed all of Series 2 with fake Rod Hull in it, and then Rod Hull goes up to, I can't remember, was it Manchester City or Leeds, one of his favourite football team, and he goes up on his roof to adjust the aerial and falls off. All right. Why do you think ladybirds are called ladybirds? They aren't birds, and half of them aren't female. Whoever called them that has never been nipped by one. How about a daddy longlegs? How did everyone go along with calling them that? So in fact, there are 3 questions there. So why do you think ladybirds?
Are there answers? Are we going to find out why ladybirds are called? I'm curious.
No. This is for you. So why are ladybirds called ladybirds?
I genuinely don't know, but I'm curious now. I'm sure it's probably just a Google away, but I've got absolutely no clue whatsoever. Tell me the answer if you know it.
No.
Oh, it's not that kind of book, then, is it?
No. These are just kind of open-ended.
Oh, just open-ended. Okay.
Yeah, no. So it's not a trick. It's kind of.
No, but I'm going to find out why they're called ladybirds.
All right. So, if you were a spider, who would you most like to trap in your web? I mean, that's 401. I mean, I can give you 410.
Uh,
All right, 411.
no, I'm busy finding out why ladybirds are called ladybirds.
Okay.
So Wikipedia tells me the name ladybird originated in Britain, where the insects are known as Our Lady's bird or the lady beetle. Mary, for the Catholic connection, was often depicted wearing a red cloak in early paintings, and the spots of the seven-spot ladybird, the most common in Europe, was said to symbolise the 7 joys and 7 sorrows. Well, there you go. I'm absolutely fascinated.
Was it well worth it?
It was. I like these kind of things. If I don't learn something new every day.
All right, I'm going to go. If you were a spider, who would you most like to trap in your web? And obviously that's appropriate, being Chris Webb. Different spelling of web, but
yeah, obviously I've kind of lived my whole life with spider web.
Actually, sorry, I'm bringing back awful school memories, aren't I? I can see it coming up.
Web,
sorry,
all of those things.
Sorry, we can switch to another one. There's no answer to this one. What's the opposite of chocolate?
Cheese. Definitely.
Though
I love chocolate and cheese.
You couldn't mix them together, though, could you?
Well, that's what opposites are for.
Oh no! Chocky cheese.
Chocky cheese? Oh, no, is chocky cheese a thing?
I don't know. I'm just. All I can think of is cheesy peas.
Absolutely not. Well, there you go. They're opposites of each other, aren't you?
I guess, yeah. If no one's, maybe that's something that the kids could try at home. Chocolate and cheese combos.
Yeah, so long as I don't have to eat it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a black magic mint in the middle of some Wensleydale. I'll have a. All right. So Chris, who should I talk to next? Who do you think would enjoy being talked at?
Who should you talk to next?
Someone I don't know. Someone you
don't know.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be somebody from the kind of the British kind of Microsoft community, really, because that's the.
It doesn't have to be, because it can just be. I mean, obviously, like I don't know if you have a brother, but obviously not your brother. But it doesn't have to be the tech community. It could be somebody who would be up for chatting.
I don't know, somebody in the tech community, someone from the kind of the MVP. You talked to Prathy yet? I'm sure she would love to talk to you.
She's I've already asked her.
Okay.
Actually, I asked her today, so it's not like I asked her ages ago.
I know Simon Sabin. If you ask Simon,
I have. I'm waiting for his reply.
Okay.
Every day I'm waiting for his reply.
Who else is out and about?
I
don't know.
I don't know. No, I won't go there because I don't know Simon very well, and I don't know how.
I'm sure you could send him an email.
No. I've sent him. I know. I mean, I have his contact details. I just don't know him, so I don't know how silly I can be with him.
Okay. I suppose. I don't know. I've got no idea. Who else can you talk to? Well, maybe you need to kind of get somebody from Microsoft UK. Who else? Have you talked to anybody else from Microsoft UK yet?
Not really. I've kind of kept this quite quiet from them. I mean, as you know, I think when I first sent you the message, what was your first reply?
I can't remember.
It was Google Docs.
Oh yes. Well, yeah. What are you using Google Docs for?
I don't think I've ever used Office.
Excel Online.
Yeah, to do that kind of thing. I just went with what I knew, what worked, what was
Fair enough.
simple, and I knew would work with other people.
Hmm.
With that,
Yeah, without sign-in issues and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, it's all right. We can take this one offline. But yeah, I'll
have
pick
a
someone
think
up.
and see if I can suggest someone.
Yeah, someone we can be a bit more creative because I've asked a couple of people that I know and aren't really from they're a bit from the tech community, but not like royalty like you or I've got I've got people like Buck Woody, and I was thinking of asking.
Buck Woody is way more famous than I am.
Yeah, I'm building up to Buck.
Oh, okay.
When I had Neil on, he was like, "Oh, you're like I'm like the eighth person you've asked. Go on, I'm eighth down the list. No. I'm building up right now. The later it gets, kind of, I'm trying to get good at this. You have to do something more than once. You need 1,000 hours to be an expert.
I think it's 10,000 hours. I hate to kind of break this to you. I think it is 10,000 hours.
Buckets.
10,000 hours of practice, which kind of is about 5 years, which is how long it took for Guy in a Cube to reach 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So
100,000.
that's how it all works out. Actually, I think that's a bit of a myth. They've proven that that's a load of rubbish. But
oh, what, the 10,000 hours?
10,000 hours of thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a good marketing thing, isn't it? It's a good sort of
it's a good theory to write a book, hang a book around and sell lots of copies. Be, Malcolm Gladwell or whoever it was that came up with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, I'm going to let you get back to your family, and I will continue to follow what you are doing and what you're up to on the Facebooks. Where can people find you? I'm going to put you back on your screen, which is you're down in the corner.
blog.crossjoin.co.uk, which is where you will find all of my latest writings about Power BI and Microsoft BI and stuff.
Calling the
Power BI basically today.
Calling the Power BI Export API from Power Automate Part 2.
You would not believe how popular those posts have been.
Ooh.
Part 1 and Part 2 have both. Part 1 I only published on Saturday, Part 2 Monday. I think Part 1 has now got more hits on my blog than any other post that I've written this year. So it's powering up. Yeah, and I thought it was just going to be like some really not very popular subject, but it is massively popular. Which I've been blogging for 15 years, and I still don't know what the it's so what people are interested in and what people aren't.
Do you know what I'm looking at, Chris? Down on your blog, down at the bottom of the archive bit where you've got all the dates of all the blogs, there's an MVP logo there.
Oh, I better take that off, hadn't I?
Sorry.
I don't think I scrolled down there far enough. Is that still there, really? I thought I'd taken that away.
Sorry. There's no link
on
it.
Scroll down an awful long way. Oh yeah, I can take that off now.
All right. Sorry to actually make you do some work. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here.
That's all right.
Well,
there's.
I'm gonna go to the about.
There's years and years of things.
Look, there's young Chris there in front of a shipping container. So on the about page.
On the about page, in front of a shipping container.
I don't know what it is. It looks like the corrugated iron of a shipping container. It probably, I mean, it isn't, but
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Confused. I've got to work out how to get rid of this bloody MVP logo.
language. It's a family show.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry, I have to get
It's
that in once on everything.
yeah. It's all
Oh,
right.
so after done that, it's relaxing time now. So I will thank you very much. You have been wonderful as ever, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we'll try and see each other in person at Sequel Bits because you're speaking. That'll be September if nothing else changes,
Hopefully, yes.
and we'll certainly see. Hopefully you'll be on the stand if we can get you on the Microsoft stand.
Well, yeah. I would imagine I will be doing some booth duty, so yeah, we'll be able to hang out there. All right,
Yeah,
I've got rid of that MVP. I've got rid of that
right.
MVP logo now as
If
well.
I can get anywhere near you with all your adoring fans around you, do you know? I was talking to someone else about you yesterday. About someone who was doing an internal guy about analysis services. I was just saying, yeah, I know, yeah, really nice guy. And he went, I said, Chris Webb, and he went, oh, Chris Webb. You know Chris Webb. I was basking in your reflected glory. You know, which I will try and steal as much of as I can. All right.
Well,
Thank you, Chris.
hopefully somebody watches this.
Well, no, these are getting quite a few hits. Obviously, not as many as your
Really?
blog.
It's good. It's good. No, it's good.
No. Well, considering I started it a couple of weeks ago, I think it was 100 and something, 150 hits on the website, and I think one of them within a few hours had 20, 30 streams just